It's on! Nations Pride is on the line. GLL Nations Royale. That's what we're doing tonight. And my name is Rene Butler, also known as G-Runner. And with me in the studio, back again, is my name is Toby. Not mine, his.
That's my name. Thank you.
Yeah, it's very weird. My name is Toby. That makes super hard. I was thinking about that intro.
You can just say Toby. It keeps it so much easier.
I want to say the whole night, my name is Toby.
It's actually the name is Toby.
The name is Toby. Oh. Wow. Can we redo this? No, we're not redoing it. Nations Royale, that means 32 versus 32.
Yes. That is. I've had the pleasure of sitting on the sideline watching, and it's been chaotic. It has been chaotic.
There's strategy behind that. I can tell you that. We tried to analyze that through all the other weeks. And there are different playstyles in such a mode, and I really like that. And today, it's even better than all the previous days. Not just because we got rid of Demon, but also because we got a rivalry on screen that's longer than his hair. Actually, Sweden versus Denmark.
Yeah, that is going to be a good one. I'm, of course, not going to be biased at all.
No.
At all.
No.
Not going to wear any war paint later on when they win or anything like that, but yeah.
Yeah, we will see a Sweden versus Denmark. First, obviously, it's the best of three once again. And then later on, we hop onto, and if you're confused by now by the flex, it was the same for us. It's the, I wanted to say Antarctic states, but that's totally wrong. The
Penguins
Adriatic,
playing.
the Adriatic region versus the Czech Republic.
You're looking at me as if you want me to confirm
you're nodding,
what you're
and I'm
saying.
like, I'm just hoping that this is correct.
I'm going to say a European country, and then I'm going to look at him and wait for his response.
Czech Republic, Adriatic nations. We see on the left, that's obviously the bracket, and that bracket also is super smart because it tells you the dates. We're obviously on March the 18th, so we got Denmark versus Sweden, and then we got Czech versus Adriatic nations.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow, we're coming back with another another 4 matches in total.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. We can also see right here, I mean, the teams in the other, and also who these teams will be squaring up against. So the winners of these, so the winners of Denmark versus Sweden, I will bring you now, up against the winner of Finland and Poland. Two very high caliber teams as well.
That is true. Obviously, they all have their own general. They all have their own lineup of 32 people. Germany is also in there. It's obviously the game I'm waiting for, since it's probably the only nation that we normally don't even mention.
So what we're saying is that it's going to be Germany versus Denmark in the finals?
In the finals?
Yeah.
Oh,
they're each their side. Yeah, exactly.
That will be a good one. But I'm pretty sure that people would like to see Sweden. Who cares about Denmark?
Here I was thinking you were going to say who cares about Sweden. What?
We are in Sweden. I want to make sure that I still make it safely to the hotel and everything, you know? Yeah, we need to figure out and make sure that I get safely back. But before we jump onto the first map, we probably should have a quick look at the players that are playing for both nations. As I said already, there's no squads, no duos. It's 32 versus 32.
A lot of people. And for those of you guys who've been in the PUBG community for a while, at least watching along, you will recognize a lot of these players. Specifically for me, from the Danish side of things, I think I know pretty much all of them. I mean, either through streaming or through Danish tournaments, international tournament as well. We have people that are playing a very high level. We got a caster in there as well. Seat number 20, Avenger himself. So apparently PEL players can't join, but the PEL casters are allowed to? Is that
I mean, why not?
Yeah, I guess so.
I would be fine with that.
Yeah. And on the Swedish side of things, we have, of course, a ton of talented players as well. We got Riddle represented, we got El Giganten, we got Pix in there, Taylor, a lot Menox in there as well. We got Hexetti on top of things. I mean, there are a lot of very, very high skill players.
And we know it's not just individual skill. I mean, obviously, if there's a 1v1 situation, then individual skill is what counts. But what we saw the previous weeks is how important it is to decide how big is a group you want to rotate? How many of them? You don't want to be all stuck in one place because obviously you're creating too many angles for the opponent, but you also don't want to spread too thin. So it's kind of hard to find a balance.
I was talking to some of the CIS players that when they had the whole CIS versus EU thing, how it said in game 1, they were all just 32 in the same Discord channel. They very quickly figured out this doesn't work. There are too many chefs in the kitchen. Doesn't work. They went 16-16. This kind of works, but not really. And then they ended up in going in 8-man. So they said like in each their 8-man sort of Discord channel. And they were like, you guys 8, you figure out what you want to do, but still kind of under the leading of everyone here, of the boss, sort of the commander there, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how, or at least maybe you can tell off of how they play, how many voices are like sort of coming into the whole thing at the same time.
Yeah, creating task forces, managing all of that. I mean, that's part of the work for all our generals, right? I mean, they're fighting for national pride. That's what's on the line here. They're obviously medals as well. An offline final for the generals, at least, the 30th of March. So that will be next weekend. So there's a lot to fight for still, even if it's not a huge cash prize. But hey, it's for a nation. It's even better.
It's going to be crazy.
I see some maps on. Look, do you see this smart thing down there? It says Erangel, Miramar, Vikendi.
BO3, and Vikendi is going to be the decider, I guess you can say, in the aspect of things. Yeah. Could be interesting.
I mean, I like that we start in Erangel. I like to start classy.
Because Miramar is kind of becoming a classic, I guess, to a certain extent. Of course, Erangel will always be the OG. Yeah, true.
I like green.
Oh, then you do like Erangel more than Miramar, that's for sure.
I don't think we need to discuss that. I'm pretty sure that's not really his thing.
Pretty much how it is. Yeah.
Great. No, but Vikendi obviously smaller. So rotation, we saw that we played in one of the previous weeks. We played Sandhawk, which was a completely different playstyle because you saw both nations being way quicker around the map. You know, Miramar, it's kind of spread. It takes until 15 minutes before they decide, like an attack angle, where they want to position. And for the circle to be small enough to really force them to do something.
Yeah.
But on Sunhawk, it's the boot camp, and everyone wants it. So
it's the pride within the map also, not just the whole aspect of things. But yeah, it makes sense, right? You have Sanok. For the most part, the line of sight, because there's so many trees, the foliage is so much different. It's just, you have to be closer to spot people. Where on Miramar, I mean, you can look to the other end of the map and you'll be able to spot people there too.
Yeah, will be interesting, all that positioning once again. Obviously, we're starting with Erangel. We just saw that Miramar, and then Vikendi. So we're going from okay temperatures to way too warm to way too cold.
Yeah, makes
probably.
Sense. Yeah. Isn't that what they do in Sweden as well? The Nordic countries, like they'll go
It's basically
out,
a week in
so
Sweden.
they'll go in the sauna and then they'll jump out in the snow and then run back into the sauna again. You know.
So I think it's the normal climate right now because I was here for shows. Everything was green. Next week everything was in snow, and but there's no desert.
There's
today.
also snow today, so
yeah, doesn't really work. I will work that out. I will work that out. One day, all of this will make sense. I'm promising. I'm really promising. I'm obviously just waiting for the teams to get ready. Not that you think like we just really, really like exposure and to be on camera. We do.
I don't mind that.
But we can't control that. So I don't mind that. You ever saw a caster that was like, I don't like cameras?
He might want to consider, or he or she, whoever, might want to consider another business.
Yeah. I had one that was his first show, and it was so amazing because I started off and I turned around and he was still staring at the camera like this.
Yeah, he probably.
And it was so hard. You try to be nice, right? You turn around and he's like,
what am I looking at?
What is happening?
Yeah, that's
Can I get you a drink, maybe? No, we're not being mean people tonight.
I'm wondering though, Girona and Renee. Do you want to go by Renee or Girona? Which
I'm
one do you like on
both.
screen?
I think we did Renee the previous
We'll do
weeks.
Renee then. Makes sense. So I've been wondering, because you've had the pleasure of casting these games previously as well. And you have also casted regular PUBG before.
Regular PUBG.
Competitive PUBG and the other aspect of things. What to you, I mean, one thing is, of course, different team setups with only 2 teams and all, but what's the biggest difference to you in like from player aspect?
The problem here is that you never know how many people are around, right? In duos or squads, you know exactly, or we knocked one, so he still has 3 people that could pick him up whatsoever. Here, first of all, there could be 20 behind that picking him up, which means you really need to make sure that you finish people off and not just knock them down, since it's not worth a thing, because they will be picked up again. And it's really hard to get control of the situation when intel is missing, since you just don't know how many people there are. And we got interesting playing right between military and the rest of the island.
I would like to rename the little strait we have going through here, Öresund, just because that's the sun, that's like the strait that splits Denmark and Sweden. That's kind of what's happening now as well. Other than Hamster, he is kind of working as a spy, I would say, currently making his way into a military by himself. Probably didn't get the memo from his entire team that Hamster, let's not go military island. I know you might want to, but let's not. So he's currently the solo Danish player down there.
Yeah, let's hope that we actually don't see a circle down there, because I would be really surprised. I mean, you got all the... Oh, okay, we get a circle far north, so everyone has to move.
Okay.
For Sweden, it's obviously a bit easier. They got most of their men already in that. They could take Yasnaya. which might be a good thing for the beginning. We still see Bacon, Hannibro, they could all go to school maybe. Because they are still dropping, right? Since then, he's on his way with the car already, dropped a bit earlier, made sure that he got something to drive, and then went there. But all of the Norwegian team is northeast.
We see
Northwest, by the way. Not northeast. Southeast.
There you go. There are so many different directions. There are so many.
Wait, north.
There are only 4 letters on the compass. There's limited. Your options.
Southwest was what I was looking for.
Southwest. There you go.
Southwest.
In the end, we found it. Robin,
somewhere on the map.
Somewhere on the map, people have landed. For sure. I think everyone's pretty much on the ground by now. So we don't have to worry about them flying in the wrong directions any longer, I think. Methox, Haxetti, I mean, they've taken over. They've taken over S9. And you're talking about them being in the circle already. Does it really play that much of a factor this early on? Who gets the first circle and who doesn't? Or is it, as you talked about, normally there's a bit of a stalemate in the beginning. It's not before a couple of circles in that we really see these fights happening.
The problem with being outside of the circle is that if you're really unlucky and it always shifts away from you, there will, at one point, there will be a good position like a small mountain line, something like that, where your opponent will create a defensive line, and then you'd always run into it. And if you need to rotate, they can always spot you. They know exactly, like, do you want to rotate around? Because if this circle is already getting smaller, then there's no chance for you to be out of sight on these maps. So for now, it's still fine, because Norway can rotate wherever they want, and they will not get spotted, at least not to a point where they know, oh, all of Norway is going there. It's not Norway, by the way, it's Denmark. Why did I say Norway? There's some color missing on that flag.
Yeah. Because
production is like, I don't say word.
We used to own them as well, you know. So
wow,
they got a flag that looked like ours too.
It's obviously Denmark versus Sweden. There's no Norway. There's no Norway involved in this one. It's not three-way battle. I'm so sorry.
That's just
it's missing blue, right?
Yes, correct. Correct.
Look, you should have spotted that. You're from here. You're from Denmark.
But I just wanted to see how long we were going to take until you figured out.
Let's be honest, you had no clue that I said Norway.
I actually kind of flew over the head.
All right, that's fine. So it's Sweden versus Denmark. And so Denmark, they could still freely rotate around. They could go around west and then head up north if they wish to do so. Problem is, first circle, you have no clue where it's going, and you have no clue where to set up. Setting up in the city so far proved as not really viable, though.
And also, despite Denmark loving their Danish colors and the flag, this color doesn't seem to be one they really appreciate inside of Pachinki. Looking at the minimap there in the corner.
It's just red, so it shows this place is taken. That is it. That's a huge one.
Yeah.
It's all of Pachinki, but they are only like four people.
They can just chill inside, I guess. That could be, That's what we were talking about coming into this as well, right? How cool it could be if the team captain for each team got that one time per game, you could point and click a red zone somewhere. Like, call in the artillery on the enemy team.
I think if you spin this further, I think there's so many cool ideas that could work with PUBG in such a nation 32 versus 32 setting.
Yeah.
So much stuff you could do. I really hope that one day maybe someone goes there and says like, all right, we will create a new mode that's for Nations Royale, and it will feature some new options and some new game settings. Obviously, there's another red zone. This time it hits Sweden. They're making red zone make sure that's fair.
Yeah, and it goes down right in between them two, right? Well, they're kind of setting the line, drawing the line from where the battlefield is going to be later on in this one, and it makes sense. We have some amazing crates really, really far up north. I don't know if anyone's ever going to get up there, depending on, of course, where the next circle goes. But at least for now, it's been very clearly indicated that Denmark is west and Sweden is east, and I guess that kind of makes sense from a geological or geographical standpoint as well.
I mean, we see at least that they all rotate up north on the Danish side. I'm not sure, like I said, going up to Severny normally wouldn't be a thing.
It's kind of
at least in the previous Nations Royale games, we never saw someone going further up. Stolba was our point of the first finish. I think the very first Nations Royale match we showed here in the studio, it should be 2 weeks ago by now, I think, ended there, south of Stolba.
Yeah.
Due to the ridge line, which makes it a perfect place for someone to set up. If it finishes there again, then, oh dear, last time it was the trailing team winning because the last circle shifted in their direction and got them in the defending position. So that might be interesting. But I think as soon as Sweden is done here with Yasnaya, they would just move on. Because a city is not a great place. Even if it's, if you can really put yourself in as many objectives as possible, and as many buildings as possible, it's great to look at these windows. But first of all, they know exactly where you are. You can't really run away. And they can just set up around the city. So the circle would need to end in that city to give you the upper hand.
They'll siege the city. And they're blocking all the block off all the trading routes.
There's no support. There's no air support. No one coming in for you. So on the other side, we know the airdrops on 32 vs 32 can be quite big.
Yeah.
And they give you a lot of cool stuff.
It's just a question of whether you get them or not.
Yeah, I mean, I think no one gets that one above Severny.
Again,
not even sure if someone saw that.
Maybe it's a really far northern circle goes up there. That could be kind of cool to see someone go for it because it's not that far out. But we'll have to wait.
Interesting is Björn and Bacon. They moved in further already into the middle of the circle, not really waiting for the rest of Denmark to get closer. So that might be risky because obviously, if you run into it and you get picked up one by one. That's not really great because there's no chance for you to defend if you run into a task force of 10 people.
One thing I've been wondering is because you only see your 8 players on your team, right? You don't see the actual logos above the heads of your teammates that aren't in your 8-man squad, which means if you're really sneaky peeky and you infiltrate like a mix of 2 different squads sitting together, then you could kind of be the spy within their team because nobody would know that you weren't on their team. You know what I mean? Like one would be like, oh, we can't see him, but that's because he's on the other team, and the other team would think the exact same thing. So if he's just really, really sneaky and somehow just becomes one of the enemy team, he can just run around and tell where all of them are.
I'm not sure if that will really work. So far, I think we didn't saw it. I mean, that's obviously a thing that we could easily miss because if they don't know, how should we know? But
we're creating the meta here.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, I would love to see that. It happened to me in PUBG once. I was standing there, last circle. We were laying next to a tree, waiting for ages, and then I'm like, "Did you move?" No. And I looked to the guy next to me, like right next to me, a meter, and I'm like, "All right, never mind." And I turn away, and then I'm like, "Wait." On the map, I see that all my teammates are further away, so who's the guy next to me?
Oh, so that didn't even give you the info that you had to start shooting at him. Okay. Seeing him wasn't enough.
Yeah, no, seeing him wasn't enough. So next circle goes for a bit further in the middle, though, so around Rostock, Yasnaya is still in there. So Denmark has to kind of decide on which side of the river they want to set up to.
That's the thing, right? Because you can see already entirety of Sweden pretty much making their way down towards the south. And Denmark, you don't want to get caught on those bridges, especially not with so many opponents shooting at you. It's hard enough to get away with a vehicle when you're 4 people shooting, but if it's all of a sudden something like 15 or 30, then it's going to be really, really hard. So all of them now saying, retreat, back down to the south we go.
Now let's see if they... What does Speedo do? He... run around spikes, like just check in.
You know how you have horns to communicate and like war drums? You have war guns.
War guns?
That's how he communicates with teams. 1 shot means stop, 2 shots means go. To communicate with the other teams that he can't talk to.
Man, I would totally love to see that. Wacky Jackie just got crashed out by his old teammate. I mean, sometimes this really looks chaotic, especially when they're all in vehicles. You're like, guys, it's just driving straight. Why is that so hard for you?
One thing that's terrifying me right now is we have approximately 6 or 7 vehicles driving around with the redstone being on them. And we all know for a fact, if you get finished off, if the explosion hits your vehicle and you go down, there's no knocking, there's no nothing, you're just out. I mean, you die if you get hit.
Oh, they're pretty quick. Look at them.
And everyone's getting inside now. Whoops.
Just everyone's like, oh yeah, find a shelter, try to hide. Asker is still... No, he's outside, right?
Yeah, he's just outside
the red.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's just waiting it out. Oh, we did get the first knock there, though. Vest. That's a little off tap from the red zone.
Well, he tried. He was hiding below that gas station, but it wasn't enough. But we see it here. The typical thing, setting up a ridge.
Yeah.
Just like, all right, we might have a good lookout here. I don't think this will be their real setup, though.
I mean, it's kind of on the edge of the circle, but they're just doing it smart. I mean, Wacky Jacky's a wise guy. We see him when he's streaming, really, always sort of, not over things, but every single step he makes is sort of thought through, right? Even when he's streaming, he's talking about everything he's doing and why he's doing certain things. So he's clearly commanding his troops, telling them how to rotate, where to go, and kind of anticipating the Swedish force to be somewhere nearby.
Seems like Twite and his friends, they actually spotted the Danish team moving around. There's also a drop. Oh, the drop is going right between them.
That's what I like to call a bait crate.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you go for
It
it,
is.
then normally you end up dying. But who knows? Who knows? I mean, a lot of smokes could be thrown on towards it. Maybe they'll grant you some cover.
It will be interesting if anyone goes for that. Obviously, that's a big one. We see some of the Swedish teams already setting up in the forest. We might be a bit early. I mean, we are now 12 minutes in. Normally, it's around 15 minutes until they start.
What the? That's a lot of items in one crate.
Obviously, level 3
Can't
here.
even
There's
see all of them.
AWM as well. There's a ghillie in it, an 8x scope. So
What?
basically, everything you need.
Yeah, and more.
And more.
It's
basically like advertisement in TV. Anything you need
Wow.
and more.
Yeah, pretty much. They're gonna have a lot of ghillie suits, a lot of arms, a lot of everything they could possibly want off of this. And well, I mean, fortunately for Denmark, they get themselves off to a good one to begin with. There's an M2, M24 there. Maybe someone will come over and take that one for themselves. But we'll
You
have
just
to
see how much loot they put there.
Ooh, the next circle went south again. So even further south, these teams have to go now. For I guess if Denmark really wanted to, they could try to flank around and pin them in like the top fourth of the circle to the northeast.
Another Swedish player got knocked by his own men. He was,
Yeah.
I think, someone drove over someone. That's not really how you should start.
And
but-
Denmark does it as well, twice.
Oh, it's like they probably saw it. It was like, guys,
Yeah.
we need to step up our game.
We need to get better at knocking our teammates.
Yeah.
That's.
I mean,
the thing
there's so
now.
many people on the map that can easily happen.
And also, I mean, for Clip, knocking over your commander, that's probably not the kind of way you get promoted.
No.
That's what I'm thinking, right?
Probably not.
You won't be like the private chauffeur for the commander any longer.
Or maybe, because then you can't run him over.
Oh, true.
You see?
But that's kind of what happened there, though. That he was trying to pick him up and ran him
Keeping your
over.
enemies close.
Oh, that's what. Yeah, makes sense.
Oh, apartments right next to school here set up for
Yeah.
for Denmark. Okay. Where's the? I would like to see the full overview once again. I'm looking
the
for the
Swedes are
Swedish.
trying
Oh,
to-
there they are. Look at that. That would be interesting. So they got the first. They saw the first skirmish, but it's only a small group. It seems to be a bigger group of Swedish players.
Yeah.
That could be like eight Danish players.
Optimistic, actually, to try and count how many people were inside that compound. But I think Denmark, I mean, Sweden did what Denmark probably could have done by flanking around. They actually crossed the road as well, going over to the western side of the road. So they have a lot of control now. So should the next circle go east, they pretty much have all the compounds that they could possibly want to go to.
Oh, we saw 3 knocks by now since the hamster also grabbed Mommy. And Bootless found another one. I think that was in favor of the Danish. But you now see that they actually got 2 angles, right? It's the team of Clutchy,
Yeah.
the Mighty, Rip and all that. And then you got Samurak on the other side. They all shoot at the same compound. Then he also falls to Twitty88. But still no kill. And that's what I said.
Yeah.
They're all getting picked up. It's not really worth that much in the beginning, because you need to finish them off.
I guess the benefit here is that you get to destroy some helmets that they might not be able to find elsewhere before they have to fight again. And also those rest timers come into late game will be heavily changed up, so it won't be that easy for them to rest them should they get knocked once more later on in the game. But of course, right now it is kind of a stalemate. There's early on in the game. Nobody's forced to go anywhere right now, but all these shots being fired, it's just going to help you for those later fights.
And Sataris had a good shot here. There was a slight chance to actually really finish someone off. Obviously, he needs to be aware now. Looking out of the window, there's so many Danish players on the other side.
Yeah.
And if they know the window he's peeking out from, he might need to look elsewhere, right? There's so many compounds in front of him, so many trees, but they only need to spot that one window.
And that's kind of the thing, right? If you're the player that gets to hold an angle, I mean, with so many people in one house, you will see ahead eventually. With these guys being as talented as they are, they will start shooting. But look at this circle. I think Sweden just got the better part of it. Because the issue here is that everything between the Elgiganten guys down here, the compound down south, and where Bjorn is sitting is very open. So this could be a death run for Denmark should the next circle go further east.
I like how they created this cross-shooting basically now. It's like crossfire. If you see that, you got the team in the south, you got a team up north, and Denmark is basically running right in the middle. But they're now starting to rotate that. We see that on the corner there. They're trying to go up ahead and then rotate down south
and
to get behind it.
It's Wacky, the captain, commanding his troops up north into the red zone, trying to see if they can get themselves into a better position while shots are still being fired. Of course, we are waiting for that late game crazy shenanigans to go down. But at least right now, a lot of knocks coming in, but still not a single player eliminated yet.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, nearly 17 minutes and still 32 on each side. we see a slight 21 damage being done up there on the mountain. But what would be interesting now, did Deeks and Kluber and all that, did they see the Danish team rotating?
If they didn't see them, they must have heard them. I mean, there's so many eyes in that direction that they must have seen some vehicles drive through, because the plateau, sort of the field they drove through to get up the hills, you can see already now as well, they will spot those vehicles, because there's so many of them going up there.
Yeah, that's the problem with when you really rotate a big amount of players. It's unlikely that you won't get spotted.
Yeah.
QQS finds Jet Fango.
But maybe they just want to alleviate some of the pressure of the guys that are kind of caught in the compound. So if you just move enough people uphill, that'll be the main focus, and that will sort of allow for the other guys to get out elsewhere.
Obviously, that would be great, because we saw that in the beginning, it wasn't looking good for Denmark in that setup there, because Sweden had a finished defense line already, north and south, great crossfire, and now they're trying to spread out a bit, because now you see that. They need to turn like left, right, check.
Yeah.
If there's another team around them, could there be shots from a different angle? So it will be interesting now if they can really focus on the right target at the right moment.
That's going to be the thing. Look at how many players, as you said right there, was kind of shifted up, or south, I guess you should say, down towards the likes of Potato Hill down there. You see Ronnie long range with that 3x. It's going to be tricky, but 1 minute to go until we know. And that's pretty much going to be the deciding factor, at least for some part here. If the circle goes west, over towards Denmark, then we'll have the entire field. That's going to be hard for Sweden to push, but if it goes east, then it's going to be Denmark that has to kind of go through a no man's land.
Seems like they're actually copying the same approach. We saw that they got also two big forces, right? One up north, one up down south. And as you said already, depending on the shift of the next circle, that could be at least the decider for the first deaths here, because still, nearly 20 minutes, no one died. At one point, this circle gets too small for over 60 players.
Oh yeah, it will. And it isn't already, because you can fit so many people. You can just cram them into those few compounds that are left. But once we're kind of going out of those, which you will in just a short moment, it's going to be very, very hard if all these people want to try and stay alive, that's for sure.
I think Hex had a beautiful shot there.
Yeah, headshot connected.
It was 71 or something like that, right?
I think it was down towards Fabster in the other side of things, or down in the forest. But now, 2 seconds to go. Where, oh where, will this circle go?
Shaq, obviously...
I can see the corner of it. It's
Ooh,
Sweden.
Oh, the Danish team is out of it. All right.
Now the question is going to be, look at how many people we have up the hill down there. Are you just going to pull a full... are you going to pull a full... Let's kind of Gandalf and the White Knights rolling down the hill. The king needs our help. And crash into the compound before all the other players come in? Or do
my people need me.
Or do you wait it out? Like, my people need me. Do you just send it down the hill to fight them? Because look at the reinforcements they sent down to that compound right off of that, right? They knew... they could crash, we need to send 15 more people down there right now, and they just did that to prevent it.
I mean, they also questioned their own people once again.
Yeah.
So that's obviously something that can happen if you move so many players around. But still, for that, both teams kind of like, yeah, we shoot sometimes, but we're not really going for it. Yeah, everyone probably knows what's in this rivalry, right?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. There's so much on the line for these guys. I mean, we talk about a lot of them. They talk in their Discord channels and stuff daily, and they've all been building up to this. I don't know if maybe private bets have been going on as well, but there's a lot of... if you guys win, this will happen. If we win, this happens. I think there's a lot of pride.
No one wants to be the first one that gets annihilated here. Once again, the Swedes try to work against themselves. Mixon finds another knock.
We've seen more team knocks than actually people knocking each other at this point. I
think we're even now.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah. Is that? Oh, look at that. Robert Witt and
Avenger is far up in the opposing territory now as well. Nobody's really doing anything about it. He does have the ghillie suit, doesn't he? So he's scouting his way forward.
I'm not sure. He will probably... Oh, yeah. If he uses the car now, then Robert definitely hears it.
But you can see Denmark's Stab and Fabster. They have kind of a two-man northern flank on that compound, and it's going to be tricky because if they go down, they're kind of far away from anyone else trying to help them.
I mean, the Swedish setup looks good, and we got the first death there. So the Pixel finds Maestro. It died another one. Bjorn also falls. The Starseed will finish him up immediately. That is an important one because they're now leading by 2 kills, the Swedish side. But I said that the Danish players rotate that fast right now that it might be hard for the Swedish players to actually decide on a target.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? If you just send enough, it's going to obscure the kind of ability to pin down who you want to go for. It's hard enough if you have 4 people rotating in each vehicle. If you send in 15 vehicles at the same time to kind of pinpoint what you're going to go for, that's going to be tricky.
Fapster still looking for his first kill. There's also no kill, obviously, among his whole squad because there was no kill so far. Still for the Danish side, Sweden found 2, but we know that doesn't really say much. Like, 2 can easily overcome that. Hanses finally gets Methox, but also just a knockdown so far. It seems like he can't finish him up, though.
And like what Fabsa is doing, he has the ankle on his window there. And eventually, he's just saying, eventually, someone will look out that window, and then I'll have the ankle. But holy Swedish Circle.
Wow! Circle was like, let's try to help out the Swedish team here.
Yeah, they need help. Obviously, they're Sweden, so...
I know that you're rooting hard for the Danish side, the Danish-Norwegian side, as I would say.
Oh, that's what it is now. Yeah, okay.
Maybe you can team up with them, and they help you guys win.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see. I mean, if Sweden keeps getting circles like this, then of course.
Yeah, then you might need some reinforcements from Norway.
Gonna be interesting to see though what kind of plays are going to be called off of this, because clearly they cannot stay where they are. They're in their blue, and it's gonna start closing in 15 seconds. So some sort of a Hail Mary has to be thrown in some direction.
This compound right now with Mommy and Asker and Pixin, if they just rotate by it, fine. But if they would all turn around now and go for that compound, there's a high chance that they get them.
They actually have Avenger now mixing on the bike over there as well. They have had people crossing the north, and if they can get the info across that they have full control up north, send all the guys back where they came from and go up there, because then you're on the right side of the road all of a sudden, and you can start taking these fights.
Danish players falling left and right now. Krilly and Mixon, they all got knocked down. There was also a kill or 2 now. Yeah, Mixon also falls. That's 2 further kills for the Swedish side. Seems like they got a way stronger early game here. Let's call it early game, even if it's 23 minutes in. But it's just the start of the fight, because I can only see Swedish players knocking Danish.
Yeah. It's kind of going both ways, but for the most part, I completely agree with you. Unfortunately, it is very, very Swedish favored. They are on the defensive side right now. You talked about that as well, getting the benefit of not having to run around like a crazy person, but sort of standing still and shoot at the people that are trying to make their way on in. It's a little easier at times.
It seems like they sandwiched them now. Look at that. Yeah. Like the Swedish team is really hard on the Danish right now. Look, Singsland with the spread. Also, Hanses gets killed. Blumens by a grenade even. And now the Danish side is in trouble because they got Swedish player all over them, left, right. No matter where they look, there's someone shooting at them. Down to 21 already, which is... Oh, there's another grenade coming in. Yeah, that will finish up. Oh, no, it wasn't enough. So there was a takeover of a gun needed to finish the next Swedish player. But look at that, 17 to 30. That is a really quick one. That was an easy one.
Yeah, they've pretty much they've lost 2 guys and taken down half the Danish team. That's not very optimal. But then again, I mean, in defense of the Danish, they did get the circle. So
yes, I give you that.
Obviously, the reason why that happened. That's
it's the only reason. If Denmark loses, that's the only reason. They're now trying to get that combat back. Krillian's moving in. Premier BG already knocked down. Another one fell as well. Flemmy going over, but he gets knocked right over that wall. Patrick fall. Asko fell. But it is not enough, I think. There's still enough Swedish players. And a beautiful grenade right onto that wall rips through the Danish side here.
They are doing everything they can to hold them off, and they're having great success in doing so. Had Denmark committed earlier, maybe before that reinforcement came in, would have had a bigger chance. But they clearly went for the target, maybe a bit too late. Sweden was allowed to sort of fortify that position, and it's going to be very hard for the Danish 6 to make that 4 players. 3 players.
3, like that was an easy one for Otis. He got Hamster to his right. I'm not sure if you saw him yet. Did he really not spot him?
Oh,
but Hamster fell anyway.
Slaughter.
That's it. A quick one. 25 still alive on the Swedish side. 0, though, on the side of Toby.
Yeah, that was a warm-up. That was a warm-up, right?
Yeah, that was the warm-up.
Can we have a remake?
Norwegian support.
Can we have a remake, maybe?
Remake? No.
Yes,
it's 1-0 now.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
I'm really sorry. I mean,
that was the handicap they needed.
You're free to drop in if you think you can really help them, but I'm not so sure if that would really make a difference.
I mean, they you know, like the term "playing with your food." It would be too boring if it was 2-0, right? It would be too fast. That's how it is.
Are you now saying like the Swedish are basically food for your team?
I hope so.
And they're playing around with it? You hope so. Toby is praying for this. Looks unlikely, though. But we saw that. We saw a team coming back from a loss like this. It was Poland versus Norway, I think. Because that was the game I had in mind. And back then, they were trailing hard.
Yeah.
And they came back with a clean sweep right after that.
And it was pretty impressive to see to me in this game how we went 18 minutes, almost 20, without a single kill. And then within, what, 3-4 minutes, everyone died?
I told you, it's quick. It's like it's a long setup, and that setup is actually. Many people might say when you first see Nations Royale, you're like, "Oh, that's boring. Nothing happens in the first few minutes." Not true.
Don't
the
blink.
first 4 minutes are so important because the rotation and the setup define how strong it can be in the late game.
Exactly. I mean, this compound, the fact that Sweden held off Denmark so well, they pretty much decided it for them, right?
Yeah, I mean, they had a good setup already. The defensive setup was great. Then the circle definitely helped them. Sure, we can't deny that. So it was a bit easier for them, but I like the rotation on the Danish side. They tried their best. Problem is, I think they went too many people into rotation. What I was missing from the previous Nations Royale matches we saw was that small task force of maybe 8 people that tries to not be spotted because they're not moving around with vehicles, they're not moving around with like hundreds of players basically, but they're trying to flank them and just distract the enemy, get some good headshots on them. That was kind of what I was missing on the Danish side.
Yeah, we didn't get a lot of that. They went uphill, maybe get a high ground position, better view of the compound, then the circle went to the other side and we're like, well, we just sent 80% of our force in the wrong direction.
I think that must be hard for communication as well, right?
Exactly.
You got the circle, you're like, guys, we set up like this, this and that. Everyone moves. And then it's like, boss, by the way, the circle shifted and it's even further away now. Like, that can happen. But it's 1-0 for Sweden against Denmark. Obviously, the rivalry has not ended yet. Probably will also not end after the Nations Royale. I'm pretty sure
It's going to go on forever.
Probably. Yeah. Forever. It's the best of 3. Next up will be Miramar. Before, if we get a tie there, we will head over to Vikendi. So there's still a lot of action left. A second matchup right after that. But more of the amazing and crazy action of the GLL Nations Royale right after the break. Nations Royale is back up for match 2 between Sweden and Denmark. Still with Toby, me, Renee, or G-Runner, however you like. However Toby likes. Who cares? No one knows.
Who cares what Toby likes?
That's what I wanted to say, man. All right, we saw 1-0 so far for Sweden. Obviously, a bit of circle luck. Also, slightly better setup and better shooting, I have to say. Even if that might hurt your feelings.
No, it's okay. I wasn't shooting, so it's okay.
Okay, all right. As long as Toby is just like, if it's not about me... All right, no, it is 1-0, but obviously it's the best of 3. That means there's still everything in there. But before we dive into map 2, we have a quick look once again at the bracket, because everyone out there should actually know where we are right now, where we're going. So this is a new one to make it harder for us. They just decided like, oh, you got used to the other one?
Yeah.
Have this.
Also, this one looks really nice.
I like it. I need to wait. Yeah. I need to figure out where we are. Denmark versus
first
Sweden.
row. Yeah, first row.
That's it. So, obviously, not all of these are played on the same day, as you can see on the round of 16. And you see, for example, that Germany, Greece, and Cyprus, that is played today. But United Kingdom versus France, for example, is played tomorrow. So, yes, we will come back tomorrow, obviously at the same channel, all of that to bring you more of Nations Royale. But right now, for today, we are with the upper part of the round of 16, which means we're doing Denmark and Sweden. And then we're heading over to Czech Republic versus Adriatic Nations.
Yeah.
With finals being next week. Easy as it is.
Easy as it is. 31st. That's where it all goes down.
Yep. That's it. 30th, that's when we do the round of 4. And then 31st, where we do the big final. Set the top 4 teams. The generals will be flown in here. So they will be here. Means we might even be able to hear them shouting at the other 31 players.
Oh, that's going to be a thing. Interfering the intercoms and all that.
Yeah, we should do it like...
Go here.
Yeah, we should do it like Motorsport, where we grab that. Yeah. You know, where we grab the audio so we can hear them shouting at their teammates.
I don't know if there would be like PG all the way through. I think there might be some screaming and words that... Yes, there's one long censor. Yeah.
Just to be on the safe side. Just beep everything, safe side. You might wonder now, it's like, wait, this is Erangel again. Because it's green. Yes, because we figured out that we can't install those Swedish circles on Miramar.
Yeah.
So we went with Erangel again.
Yeah.
No, that's...
I mean, it is Swedish production, so it makes sense they want to have a bigger chance, right?
No. That's obviously not what happened. There's slight problems with Miramar, and they figured that out in the other matchup, which is currently running parallel to this one.
Yeah.
So we decided that we stay with Erangel and then go to Vikendi in case we need a third map.
Now, it was Denmark West and Sweden East before, and seems like it's going to be that way again. I was just going to say, is there a chance they're going to change things up or not? And also, Bjorn was the only Danish player on the military island. I wonder if he's going to get company this time around. It seems like it. Seems like more people are going
The plane is nearly the same. The other one was slightly more to the south.
Maybe the circles would be the same too.
Oh,
so you can start predicting things.
Just imagine them realizing that. It's like, really?
Let's take those covers now.
It's like, that looks like the same. But this time, there are actually 3 Danish players on the military islands. Hamster once again. Wasn't he... No,
it was Bjorn there.
It was Bjorn there. You're right. Yeah. But also 3 of the Swedish players. That might be an interesting setup there in case they decide to fight. Because Laron, he can see the other 2, definitely.
Fuffins is up there in this guy. He must have seen him.
Yeah.
A quick notice as well. I like that Fuffins is down here. Because Fuffins is a former player from Rogue. And they would always land on military islands. Maybe it's like a come home kind of thing for him to go down here. Even though most of his team didn't.
I just imagine all of the teams listen to the Valkyrie soundtrack while dropping.
Well,
you know, like back in the old movies?
Could be, yeah. Once again, Circle favoring, I guess, not that much. It's kind of 50-50, isn't it? I mean, if Bjorn goes a little further east...
That's probably the first Circle I see in Nations Royale that manages to get an entire team in it.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's not a single Swedish player outside of that
Swedish
circle.
circles, by the way. No Swedish circles, by the way.
Look at that. No, he's still in. Observer is like, maybe that one. Like, no, he's in. Fuffins is also in.
It's true. Every single Swedish player is inside the circle.
And the only one that's super close right now to a Danish player is, when you look at school there,
McCann. Yeah, he's up there.
He's really close to Ronnie K and Bacon.
Yeah.
That might, if they spotted him, he's probably just scouting, I guess. The same for Risk. He was down at Milta, I think, if I remember correctly from seeing the map. They are probably scouting, trying to see the Danish movement.
Yeah.
Once again, though, they have the circle on their side.
And it kind of makes sense, right? It makes sense to send out one guy in a compound a little further outside the others, take a little more land early on. So should people come your direction as scouts as well, you'll kind of shoot them off. They'll be the pawns in a game of a game of chess, right? Like the expandable ones that you can kind of send out to begin, and then if one goes down, not the biggest loss because we got a lot of info off of it.
I mean, you can say you got the whole map to loot, but if you're dropping down with nearly 30 people in the same region, then even the right loot can become rare because you obviously want to get a full setup and not just whatever weapons are available. And the worst thing that can happen to your nation here is being blind, not knowing where the enemy is going.
Yeah, you do not want to have that happen. You have to, well, at least for the most part, or as much as possible, constantly have some sort of indication of where those enemies are. Because once again, we've talked about it before, if you lose track of like an 8-group bunch, they could come flanking all the way from the side, and that's going to sort of disrupt the whole thing for you.
So, Mallman obviously moved out. Same for Otis Clutchy. They're all looking for loot further up north. The Danish spot, once again, going through Georgia Pool. It's basically the same thing as we saw in the first map of tonight's matchup, which is obviously going in favor of Sweden, as you can see on the overlay as well. They're leading with 1 point.
I was wondering, you might know this, René, because I don't. But now that there are 4 maps technically available, and we can't really play Miramar right now, but technically available, and we're playing BO3s, do we veto a map?
Yes.
Yes? Is that how it's done?
As far as I know, yes.
Huh.
Because we had Sunhawk in another one.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Pretty sure
if it's a random that we pick, like, so because if Sweden picked Erangel and we play that twice, imagine that in another game. Where one team's picked is played twice. I'm just saying. If they win,
you're just looking for excuses right now.
What?
It's like, in case Denmark loses, I need a lot of excuses to make sure that to save my nation.
I have a lot on the line here. You don't know.
Yes, I'm pretty sure about that.
My family is sitting at home. You're not coming home if they.
Oh, really?
I don't think so.
Oh, wow.
I mean, they are sitting at home, but I don't even think they're watching.
I don't know. They're like, which Twitch channel are you on? That one. Okay, ban that one from the viewing list.
Ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
No, it's okay. There's like, is it handball? Yes, we'll watch. Is it? Oh, it's a video. Yeah, it's video game.
It doesn't matter. It's Sweden versus Denmark.
That's what I'm saying.
It doesn't matter if it's football.
It could be painting competition.
Yes,
Sweden versus Denmark. You have to watch
painting competition.
Is that a thing?
I don't know.
Now it is. We'll
probably not.
Have you never heard of MS Paint esports?
You know what we should do instead of letting them veto map? We should play Monday. How's that called in German? It's Montagsmaler.
Monday Madness.
Picture, yeah. You know, where someone paints something and his team needs to
guess
what it is. Yeah.
Draw and guess.
Picture. I have no.
Picture guessing game. Yeah.
Yeah. We could call that a painting competition, right?
Yes.
That's fine. So we found it. It does exist
in esports.
Yeah, it's not esports yet, but we'll make it. GLL just announced it. It's a major tournament. Will probably be in a huge arena.
They had hired a big musician for the halftime show, but instead it's going to be a very, very, very exclusive MS Paint sort of drawing competition.
Yes. Yeah. They do everything for entertainment nowadays. There's no problem with that. So it seems like everyone kind of went away from each other. So Mike and Dark is still alone now.
Makes sense, right? They got the majority of the circle. They know that Denmark lands somewhere more east. They'll say, we'll keep going west, take control until we see them. And that's when we're going to be like, okay, we might want to stop here.
The Danish actually abandoned Sosnovka Island.
Yeah.
So they went away from military. They obviously picked up everything they need anyway. We are 6.5 minutes into the game now. So they should be all good down there, I guess.
One thing I'm thinking, with having control, I know military is not really the biggest part of the current circle, but think of it as a rotation route. Should the next circle go really far off of where you are, the ability to flank over the military island, that could be the big surprise that no one would expect you to. Because look at the amount of control you can take. Could you come over the bridge to the other team from behind? Like, just send 5-6 guys back there, keep enough distance, and then just start poking at people from far away.
I think the problem is with the circle being that big, once again, losing 6 people, even if it doesn't sound much with 32, is a lot already.
It is a lot of firepower on.
Because if you do a mistake here and you rotate your team right into the enemy, you will be happy about any single man you brought.
If you had like a full ghillie suit VSS squad on bikes, just 8 guys they were just the stealthers.
The normal stuff that happens. 8 guys with VSS and ghillie suits
and bikes. That would be
of course. Every public match. That's basically what happens in PUBG. No, there are also no hamster balls in this. Don't worry. their cars.
Four guys driving in a red zone. I mean, I don't mind it because it's the Swedish players, but they're already starting to explode now.
Being rude
They're
here.
already starting to explode here. Fortunately, they do get out.
I wouldn't be surprised if your microphone in between just gets muted by the Swedish production crew.
No, that's what.
And you never come back.
It's a solo cast. It's actually a solo cast.
Yeah, it will turn into this. But they survived. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
All good so far. We're still probably at least 10 minutes away from the first
real fights.
reasonable
Yeah.
face-off. Yeah, unless Methox finds Honeybro here, but I don't think so. He's pretty
kinda
close,
running
though.
around in the open too.
Yeah.
I don't think he spotted him because of the leaves right there. But for them at least, I mean, you can tell it as well. Everyone is sort of doing the whole let's move as far as we can, like put the finger as close as we can to the fire until we get burned, and then okay, this is where we stop, right?
Oh, look, there's that. Jacobs that gets shot by Stars, and also Bjorn is right in there. Hamster on the side, he might be able to give some cover fire, and
Look at the amount of Danish
in the
players
small,
here,
yeah,
though.
he's in the small shack
In this
there.
shack, they're very much pinned down in that area, and they need to either figure out how the hell do we get away, or smoke them off so they can get away. I mean, they cannot stick around here for too much longer.
I'm just afraid that the Danish now all abandon this, because they could basically create a half circle now around Deeks.
Yeah.
And shut them down. And
thing-
that will be a good thing. Because look, Klubber and all that, they're too far up north. This team could be taken out right now. Spido, Stars, Crew, Toven, they could take them.
The thing for Denmark is they cannot overcommit to it. Because one thing is, look at how open the area they're running into is, and they don't know where the remainder of their team is,
Yeah.
right? So you don't want to overcommit. You don't want to keep your back open and just let those guys, Klubber, Emo, that are sitting on the top side there at your minimap, sprint on down and take them from behind.
I mean, that's the huge destination as well. We talked about that. It's so unpredictable. How many people are you actually facing?
You got to really have those proper scouts in there.
Yeah.
One knock
It's easy
has
for us
come
to
in,
say,
though.
oh, they could take them down because they're only like 6 people. They got Spido, though. He's knocked out.
Ooh, Stars
Oh,
is
he's
down
even
as
getting
well.
killed now. That's the first time tonight that Denmark is leading.
I was
They
going
got
to say the same thing. By the time that we got our second kill, half the Danish team was killed in the last
Yes.
game. So kudos, we've turned it around. And they're even helping us now. And this is a bad thing for them because they were bailing on the compound. Circle did move up north.
Well, what happened to the circle? Yeah, did the circle shift?
It did. I mean, you can look at the vehicles in your minimap. They're all driving north like
Yeah.
crazy people. So it clearly went back to where we were before. Similar planes, similar circles.
Yeah, we once again got Rostock and Yasnaya
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
circle, yeah.
And for some reason,
But
Sweden
that was
got
a
the
good
same
start.
compounds again, too.
Yeah, what a surprise. No, once again, these circles are not set by production. It does not work.
No, I don't think
It's not a thing. It's just fun to make fun
I
about.
might end up thinking so if we lose this round again, but at least now we have a lead. So there's no excuse for losing at this point because we're up by 2 players.
Which is still not much.
Can
We
I
know
say
that.
we as a caster?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think in esports that's totally fine. I mean, we allow it in the Football World Cup, right? It's totally fine for,
yeah,
for
that-
commentators
that
to
is
take a
true.
side. I think it should be the same in something like Nations Royale.
In all honesty, this will probably be the closest I'll ever be to catching, like, to sort of commentating a World Cup football game. That's right now, right here.
I can agree on that. I think I will never do football. I did some real life sports, but I never did football, so it's unlikely that we will end up doing it. Maybe they see us now and they're like,
Yeah,
these
that's-
guys,
yeah,
we
yeah,
need them
yeah,
for the World
yeah,
Cup,
yeah,
Denmark
yeah,
versus
yeah.
Sweden.
You never know, you never know. Ronnie, long range last game, he had himself a 3x. This time around, a little better uptick on the weapon there, but unfortunately still not really able to connect some shots.
Yeah, still. I mean, the problem is he got spotted now.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of eyes looking at Oh, that was the Danish player. I was like so surprised. Who's running up that hill there?
That could be
Running
the
up
scout
the
guy we were
hill.
talking about. Running,
Yeah, you know.
infiltrate the enemy camp. And
I
you
was
might just be able to pull
surprised.
it off. Oh,
They get it
Packers, watch
right.
out.
They get it home delivered.
I like
Amazon Prime. Right here.
This is where you wanted to have a guy able to throw off the crates, right? Because he's going to be the only guy able to loot it.
Yeah.
At least for
And-
now. I mean, the other guys can't get up there.
And
too, but-
by the way, this is also exactly how they deliver it in Germany. They just throw it on your roof.
Oh, that's the Amazon drones. They just throw them on your roof.
I
Is that how
don't
it
think
is?
they do drone delivery yet in Germany.
No?
Yeah, we normally ban everything that looks kind of cool and is futuristic.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't even pay in most restaurants with card.
I know that.
It's hard, right?
Yeah.
I know that. It's strange.
It is kind of annoying. But look at this one Danish player who believes he can make a play. That's Bjorn again. He was the military guy last game. He was the flanker that did go down early on, but tried last game. And right now he's in a position that should this circle go east, he's going to be the best bet Denmark has to really get a wraparound position.
If the circle just shifts to the inside, right now, like just to the middle, I think the Danish team got a great setup.
Yeah, they can wrap around too because because Sweden is kind of pinned, not pinned, but like centered very, very much in the middle. New Circle did just pop Waggy, trying to hold the angle, and it goes west. Okay, so one east, one west, and right now at least, Denmark, you're up by 2 players. You got the circle now. Let's see what you can do with it.
Now maybe they get the circle like the Swedish had on the previous match, so they can actually get revenge.
The thing is, Denmark cannot let
really risky.
Sweden is committing. They're committing to this one. They want to get a new position. Look how many players are rotating in. Nixty trying to do everything he can, but he's all by himself here. More people has to start shooting, and now the shots are coming in.
Did they really both make? Oh, no. All right, LQQS fell. All right, Esker nearly made it. Getting dropped. Jacob is right around the corner here, just waiting for him to kill
Look at
him.
the commitment. Everybody's sending their vehicles in towards apartments. A lot of them are killing themselves.
Did they really thought apartments were still up for grabs?
No. They just thought if we just send enough people in, we can... Balak? Hello?
Oh, wow.
He just got completely mowed down by his teammate.
31 to 22. It seems like that wasn't a good call.
Yeah.
The Swedish players were just going to their own personal Armageddon right now. Molman now finally picks one up. For,
Molman got in.
Sweden.
Fair enough. He got himself a house in the apartment aspect of things, but they sure did take a lot of casualties trying to get here.
This now looks like getting a rental apartment in Stockholm.
First, Bjorn runs
Everyone
over.
runs it.
Oh, that's what it is. It's free.
Yeah, it's basically that. 19 now on the side of Sweden. Denmark up by nearly 10. That could be... That match to turn it around. They could bring it to Vikendi.
And to excuse some of these guys to see shooting teammates and stuff, we are again at the point, especially with this cluster, that you can only see your 8 friends that are on your actual squad. Like we see the list here on your left of your screen. Everyone else is no name, so you do not know if they're on your team or not. So once you have this cluster, 20 vehicles just bombing into apartments, you will just shoot at everything standing that doesn't have a name tag on it.
Yeah, Bacon gets himself another one. There's Roman waiting on the other side. Grenade was a good one. Not quite enough there. Oh,
that's
beautiful
a
shot.
Yeah. Credit for credit's due. Good landed shot right there. Now shots are coming in return.
Yeah,
they are kind of crawling back.
I think now they're all settled once again, and now these Swedish players can play out their strength in actually shooting.
They are clawing back in this one a little bit at least. 17 still up for Sweden. A few knocks having not been rested yet, but Denmark is starting to take some more casualties too.
It will be an interesting ending. We got Hamster and Bootless in the smoke there. They're hiding right next to the apartments here. But the apartment on the right is fully Swedish already. Asian Power might be in a bad spot here because they're fighting in the apartment. Hamster falls to Klubber.
They have 4 guys upstairs and 2 of them trying to hold the middle plateau. It's not going to be easy. They do have the southern apartment for kind of to sort of give covering fire over, but it's a really hard angle to try and hold for them. And with them knowing there are people downstairs, Denmark should probably commit some more people to help them out here.
Sweden actually got a bit closer. Asian Paul coming around the corner, not getting on the stairs, dropping down. He actually survives there. His teammate is trying to push up. Is that Fuffins? Yeah, he tries to push up, try to help his teammate. Mixon obviously needs to be picked up by Lenny there. They still got stepped though, so there's 3 Danish players on top of Fuffins. There's also Revengar on the side. So it's 3 versus 3 in that staircase.
I'm just wondering what FPS these guys are having right now, because that's got to be a cluster with a cluster on it.
Lenny also being dropped down, but he will be picked up. That's once again the same game on both sides. Like they do on Concert, pick them up. Oh, Deeks! He gets Bjorn.
I feel bad for Bjorn because I think Bjorn saw him, but it was one of those, I just knocked the teammate before, so I don't want to just shoot at anyone again, and all of a sudden, oh, that was not my teammate, okay.
That could be, actually. That could be.
Because he just holding the angle and saw the guy, right? He just never shot at him.
I want to say
now Nixty is shooting a teammate, too.
They do. We're just talking about that. But I want to say that Sweden was picking up pace a bit and getting closer, but it's still 5 kills difference.
I mean, they have caught up because Denmark was up like 28 kills to 21 or 20 or 17,
they were
like
the
that.
10 in between.
So, as you said yourself, it has kind of calmed down again. Everyone's sort of holding their positions. Circle is closing in, seemingly towards the apartments area once more. So, it could be the city ending that nobody really wants here.
Herky finds Robert with a beautiful shot. Oh, Molman. Yeah, it was like, oh man, I'm so sorry, dude. I'm so sorry, dude.
Just a love tap with an AK, you know.
Yeah, the usual stuff that happens, right?
You can see how emotional. You can see how emotional he is.
Yeah, he was sad. You saw that face, right? Wow, just coming out of the smoke. And turn down his own teammate. Deek still got Bootless on his top, I think.
Everyone's kind of sharing these houses. I mean, that is a Danish-Swedish thing we share sometimes, not willingly, but it does happen every now and again anyway. But now, as we can see here, Sweden have committed to this one. They want to push out the Danes. They know they're above them, and they can hold them off. The thing for Denmark is they might lose 4 players off of this, and there's not really anything any of the other Danish players can do to help out, because they have some in the northern apartment, some far out on the eastern side in the yellow house, and the remaining players over in school.
Yeah, I'm wondering now how you want to turn this around to at one point you would like to sort it again, you know? Like just try to create cleaner lines so it's easier for crossfire and everything. They are just firing into the smoke, but there's no one right now. But grenades popping up, all right.
That's gonna be good. That could be a double kill. If it's a nade, is it a smoke? It's a nade next to with a double, and he's just gonna start spraying the smoke. No, don't
mix
nade
them
your
properly,
teammates.
please stop. Can
don't
mix them
nade
play
your
up?
teammates. Don't nade your teammates.
Oh, there was another grenade. Oh, grenade gets them both easy, but they got Step as well with that grenade. Did he jump right on it? Did he jump right on their own grenade?
Yeah, that's a miscommunication, I think we call that.
But still, they got 2 out of this.
Yeah, and now the Eastern Danish guys from Yellow Houses realizes their team needs them. Might be too little too late, but at least the Danish team on the upstairs are holding this one as best as they can. This is like the action-packed Friends episode we never saw.
Yeah. This could be a horror movie. It's like it's just smoke and people shooting left and right. No one has a clue at who they're shooting right now. Denmark down to 19, but Sweden already down to 11 now.
Yeah.
That could be the chance. It depends on now who wins the fight in the apartment and then has the better group outside waiting for recall.
That's the thing, right? Because Denmark only has 6 players in apartments. The remaining 11 are all over in this school. And now Circle shifted away from schools. We could see in just the right-hand corner, the top left corner of your minimap there, the white line. Shifted away from school. So it is going to go down in this area. Oh, the Danish flank! The Danish fortress from the south is coming in to help Wieland, Klopp, and Robin. They have no clue what's about to hit them.
Yeah, that's true. They're currently looking away.
But it's a lot of players to risk flanking out when you only have 15 alive.
I think the Danish team knew that they might lose apartment. Like when it really comes down to close quarter combat, and they were like, you know what? They can't kill us all unless we're all there, right?
Perhaps don't give up the positioning. Can I send the vehicle up to the flankers, driving right by them? That would make them look the other direction.
I want to see that small skirmish over there because I think that will be a really important one. I mean, the apartment is nearly done. There we go. Clip right into Valen and Robin. They get to at least down. Klubber still to the right. If they oversee Klubber now, that will be a mess because he can easily turn around and kill all of them.
They have no clue, or they had no clue that they were coming from up there. Great play from Denmark. First time we've really seen like proper flank execution when we're sort of working out well. The other times it's kind of been just part of the chaos and not really been working.
Well, I told you after the first match, that's what I missed on the Danish side. They had good rotation. I was just missing these task force that were there for a special purpose and create distraction and new possibilities. And that's exactly what they did here.
They did make it a bit scary though, because they were losing a lot of players in the apartments. And that flank was very far out, so the idea was good, but had it been executed a little sooner, they might not have taken that many casualties.
That is true, but I'm still not sure if that was needed. Like this whole apartment stuff to keep them busy and to create this second attempt there. Beamy gets taken down, but picks in another grenade for Clip. Grenade kills left and right. It was only a knock, but at least a knock so far. 15-5. That's a 10.
I think they've kind of pinned down because I mean the thing is you cannot really count how many players in the enemy team are alive. I don't know if you can. That's a nade to your teammate. Clip, you got to throw them through the windows, not at the windows.
Yeah, he's still working that. He's not MLB pitcher. Not yet. Curveball, he's still working on that. Maybe a knuckle.
Those are what I call Tobies instead of Kobe's. That's when I kill my teammates, you know?
Is that something you do often?
No, what? No.
you want to say no here on the broadcast, but all your friends at home saying, yep.
Yes.
Deeks falls to Fapster. All right, that's a big one.
3 versus 15. This has to become the best apartment keep I've ever seen if gonna pull it up. Well placed nade thrown down. Gets himself 1. 2 guys down already as well. Gets the finish off. No casualties so far. They're holding it. They're holding it.
That would be big.
They just lost 5 players trying to do this. Now they got down 1, but they might just want to figure. I mean, we could also just sit outside this place and wait for them to have to leave. Because this could become a loss for them if they don't really watch out.
Unless it really finishes there. At one point, there are no grenades anymore.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, also,
I mean, right now it seems they
the
have a
thing
lot
is,
of
when you run up and you get a player knocked, his whole falling animation
Oh.
is going to block you off so hard. It's really, really tricky to do anything off of that. So it's so tricky, and that's what it makes it so difficult to push these apartment buildings. Because once you get that first player knocked, he just blocks off the entire push coming for your team.
You know, Kevin Alone at Home, the movie?
Yeah.
That was basically what happened to Brother. He just stepped
Yeah.
on that grenade and was probably falling down the stairs.
Yeah.
But Patrick running right into the Danish army, the troops, they're standing down at the staircase, finishing him up. Now they're pushing up high. Obviously, they want the last kill. There's Robert fighting back. He gets 2 here. But then the grenade takes him out. And it is Denmark.
He killed
taking him up
himself
too.
with the nade too. That was pretty impressive.
Oh, really? That was his own grenade?
Yeah, it was.
That was too quick on the kill feed to see it. Really?
Yeah, it
You're
was.
not joking.
It was. He killed himself with the nade.
But at least he got 2.
It hit the Danish player in the head and flew back towards him.
Now back to World Cup football.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. It was a header, but in the wrong direction.
Yeah,
And,
can happen.
1-1.
Yeah,
We
they go
can
into the Vikendi.
It is snow. Sweden, they like snow. They have snow right now. Could give them an advantage.
Oh, how's the weather in Denmark?
Oh, it's probably not snowing. It never is.
It never is.
Oh,
All right.
it's like 1 day a year or something.
True.
Like that.
It's only a bit further up north from
Yeah.
Germany, so
Yeah.
shouldn't be that crazy. Obviously, that was the start of the map. It was pretty similar to what we saw before. Speedo was probably the first victim. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, they were down early.
Yeah,
on.
that task force where we said if Denmark is pushing for this one, they might have a chance.
I like the nade execution on that too, because they pushed in, they got them, they left again quickly, not to get overtaken by anyone. And also, I mean, honestly, despite me maybe talking in favor of Denmark sometimes, I kind of have to, but I like the commitment from Sweden here, because they saw what happened to Denmark the last game when they didn't really commit to anything when they didn't get the circle. They just kind of got picked apart in the open, nothing they could do. Here they said, you know what, there's only one thing we can do. We have to just send it full speed forward. And they probably had the scouts checking out which apartment has the fewest players in it, tried to commit to it, but half of it was team kills, half of it was just chaos.
I mean, they didn't stop. They saw the kill feed. They saw their own people dying.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that was all the skirmish we see there. Until this great flank from the Danish team.
Yeah, that one was crucial.
Yeah, that got them another 3 or 4 kills even. But yeah, how they committed, I mean, they didn't stop. They saw deaths on their roads, and they were like, no, we still get that apartment.
It was one of those enemy at the gates things where the commanders sit behind, and if they turn around, they will shoot them for treason, right? So they just have to keep on going, no matter the cost. Go forward. Look at that nade right there. And he gets in, boom, himself.
Oh, that's so sad. Yeah, Robert Witt kills Robert Witt. He was like,
He
if
would
we
not let
lose to
them take it
Denmark,
down.
if we lose to Denmark, then at least 2 Swedish grenades.
It's like the cyanide kind of finish off. I will not give up any of the secrets. I will just finish it off myself, yeah.
That means in our first best of 3, we actually go full length into a third map. That will be Vikendi here between the big rivals, Denmark and Sweden. All of that, we'll be back after the break.
You think I'll beg for mercy? Fall to my knees to be your girl. Are you really that deluded? I I wouldn't touch you for the world. 'Cause I wake up in the morning thinking this is my new love. And I know we break up in a week because of your snowman syndrome. I wish you were as big as, I wish you were as big as, yeah, I wish you were as big as your ego. I wish you were as big as, I wish you were as big
Sweden or Denmark? That's the big question here in the studio. GLL Nations Royale with Toby and me, a G-Runner. And we're actually heading into a third map because we just saw Denmark with a huge comeback.
Yeah. A well-deserved one, too, if I should say so myself.
Definitely.
That flank on the top, it worked. I got kind of skeptic at one point because they kind of flanked after it was all done. But that all of a sudden made sense, too, right?
I'm pretty sure they listened to me. So my DMs are open to become coach of the Danish team, no problem. But instead of me trying to hunt for a new job, let's have a quick look at the actual kill board of the second map. So that's not overall, obviously. It's just the second map we saw. And Nixie's got 6 for him. That is not bad. Look, Deeks only got 3 on the
Nixie
other
was
side.
one of the apartment sort of holders for long. He was the one throwing the nades down the stairs for a very long time. Like 3 guys top floor that trying to hold off for the longest amount of time.
Did Deeks not die super early? Oh no, he was with the group that was attacked early on, like the first kills, but he survived that one and came back later. All right.
So a lot of zeros on the board. Are there any mention-worthy zeros to you here? People that you feel like should have got kills that didn't?
Let's have a quick look. I mean, Stars from El Gigante. Yeah, I think he should have had one because he had 2 or 3 big opportunities.
Yeah, very
Asian Power, it's not fair. He got shot down by his own teammate.
Oh, yeah.
He was the unlucky guy right after the smoke. And
also, Balak both got run over and shot by his teammates. That's a double unfortunate.
Henny Bro on the side of Denmark, he was the unlucky guy that fell down the stairs on a grenade.
Oh, yeah, that didn't.
Yep.
Yeah, that's also. Yeah.
So, I'm not sure. I mean, we saw in the previous Nations Royale matchups, there are always a lot of people with zeros. It's not like you would say, oh, getting a kill in Nations Royale must be way easier because there's so many targets.
There's also equally many people shooting at you, right?
That's it. Every single time you peek is at least 6 different people watching you and trying to take you down immediately. So it's actually harder than most people expect.
It is. Go try it yourself.
Yeah.
Somehow. Find 32 friends of 31 friends that want to play against
31 friends.
I have a hard time just getting a squad in PUBG.
It's like, wow, if I really message everyone on his Steam friends.
Where's my old MSN Messenger list? Maybe some of them
ICQ, AOL. Where can I find people? Maybe contact everyone back then from school. So, hey guys, is any of you playing PUBG? No, I think the final should be like that. All of the PUBG casters versus the nation that won.
I think we aren't that many casters.
32?
Yeah.
Come on, how many PEL casters? There's Demon,
There's 6.
Frost, Sims.
6. I mean, there are 2 reporters as well.
We count them as well.
Okay.
That's already 8.
Or we can go
us.
It doesn't only have
That's
to
10.
be EU. We can do it like NA and Korean casters. Okay, then there's
We'll bring all of them.
Yeah, all of them.
We demand our chance. Talent versus the winning nation.
I just want to know the bragging rights we would get if we won. That would be the most...
Direct invite PL.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, we'll get our own team. Yep.
There will be like a talent crew powered by whatever. No clue. Yeah. Powered by all esports organizers, basically. By all of them.
Everybody would want a piece of us.
Easy.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Easy. If you want that, let us know on Twitter, obviously. We set that up. GLL will work on it in the background already. They're like, God, Renee shouldn't say these stupid things. Like, we always need to work.
How to make blooper reel.
Yeah.
Let us talk
Just
for long
imagine
enough.
us all being... We all fly to Berlin, so we can all play from the same
We'll have a gaming house.
We all go to the gaming house and then play talent.
We'll all be talking so much because we're all casters, so nobody will be really given a chance.
That's also
to
the
say
broadcast,
anything.
by the way. Since there's no one that can cast it, the broadcast will be our communication.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
That will be sick.
One thing though, I gotta say, as a Danish representative, if there are any Danes out there right now, because I'm kind of deeply behind enemy lines here, spam some Danish stuff in the chat. I don't know what the hashtag would be. Hashtag easy for Denmark, maybe. I don't know. We'll see if it is. We'll see
how creative you are today.
I'm
easy
feeling,
for Denmark.
I will take. I will very quickly copyright that. That's gonna be my trademark from now on.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
That's the most important part. Always copyright whatever can help you. The Kendi, way smaller, obviously, than Ariel. That's not just your eyes playing tricks. It is actually way smaller.
Yeah. And now we have, instead of a river going west to east, it's going north to south. And the interesting thing here is, sure, there is ice when we got out to Port Vosto, but, well, for the most part, it is still very hard to really get over, even though there is some frozen areas there because Well, I mean, you're far out in the open for the most part.
It's true. You need to decide. You need to know where the lake is actually frozen, where the river is frozen, so you can cross. As you said already, it seems like not many people are in the east. The mighty Rip found his way there. Is there anyone going for the cave?
I'm looking.
I don't think so. At least not right
No.
now.
Why wouldn't you? Isn't it even on esports mode? Isn't it guaranteed crates down there?
At least every single time we did it so far here. At
Oh,
GLL,
look at this. The
there
observer.
was-
They're so
Yeah,
fast.
he's going there.
You know
Look
what?
at
I
that.
remember first time I went here, I didn't know you had to smash a car into the thing. So I was just running around. How do I get in? Because I've seen in YouTube videos this is where the entrance is, but I could not get in.
Not on my version. Oh.
I can't get in. Did not work for me, but there are crates.
You need to stand in front of it and sing a specific song.
So the question here is there some sort of a gentleman's agreement that you don't go here?
I'm pretty sure that wouldn't work between Denmark
No,
and
that's
Sweden.
what I'm thinking. Sweden wouldn't stick to that. They wouldn't do that, right?
Oh, wow. Only blaming Swedish players here. They would never never stick to any of that. Not gonna happen.
Swedish people.
We like Swedish people. We like all kinds of people and non-people, in case that exists.
Do we have
So
any
don't worry.
non-people viewers in the chat?
Well, non-people viewers in the chat.
Maybe Nightbot or something?
You never know.
You never know.
They could watch, right?
They could just not identify as people.
Did you have you ever wondered how there are that many viewers but you don't know anyone watching that specific stream? That's because non-people are watching.
Non-people viewers. Yep,
Not
I've heard of those
or let's
before.
say non-Earthlings watching.
Non-Earthling viewers watching. Anyway, we can see the yin and yang, pretty much just straight north to south, split between these teams. Blumen's currently the closest player to enemy players down pretty much in the center of everything. And, it is for now. He's going to be able to stay put. But with this being so far evenly split with such a fast spread from south to north, wherever that circle goes, it's going to very much benefit one team or the other.
It has to, I guess. There's not much that can happen that
That's the thing, right?
wouldn't create this.
Because it very rarely goes bang, like completely center.
I know we not often do shout-outs to Twitch chat, right? Due to delay, whatever minutes we have. But I really want to read this message to you. Patrick36 says, Toby looks old.
Now, I don't know how old Patrick 36 is, but I am turning 29 this year, so I guess I am the OG generation, or at least somewhat. There are people that are way more OG than I am.
Probably.
Yeah, I can come up with a few names.
I mean, Demon
but
is for sure older than
didn't
you.
wanna
I am older than you.
I personally did not want to say any names.
Yeah,
but
I'm older than
yeah.
you as well. So
There are people that are older than me, but sure,
Yeah.
I am old as an average in like embracer of esports.
What do you want to go as an average individual? It's
As
like,
an average
that's not gonna happen.
individual in esports.
No, never mind. Even if you're old, you're still gold.
Question
Don't
is
worry.
gonna be: is it a compliment? Am I
don't know.
Am I like George Clooney old
Ask
in a good way?
Patrick. Maybe we should get Patrick for an interview later on.
Oh, that's what it is.
Circle
Yeah,
actually. Look at this. I'm still not sure if Sweden could rotate around Sbava and then get Nixtis. I mean, that would be
That
so
could be a
ballsy, right?
crazy
To just go
northern
north,
rotation, yep,
go
yep.
north, rotate all around, and then
But
say hi.
first of all, they don't know that he's over there, so
Yeah,
they
that's
wouldn't
the
really have
issue.
that info that we have. And second of all, should the circle go east anyway, there's not really a reason for them to try and flank. At least not at this point. It could be very crucial later, but at this point, it's not really the biggest deal.
Interesting is that everyone is on the same side of the lake, basically. Like,
Yeah.
a big chunk of a team. So if they need to go over, Robert with the McCundark might run into a
That's the
small
thing,
task
right?
force here.
Because this is around the mountain. And sure, the highest point in the game, that's where you want to sit, because that's where you're going to get the best vision. And Krillin, he's been kind of cornering this whole compound for a while now. Question is going to be, did he see any open doors? Because that could give him the info.
Robert
there's
Witt will
people.
run into Bacon. Look at
That's
this.
the thing, right? Did he spot them? Looks like Bacon
he's
has an
looting.
angle. Yeah, he saw him. He saw him
Robert
for
Witt
sure.
has no clue.
Yeah. And now it's the question, how is Denmark going to play with this? Wait for the players, get those numbers, because you do not know how many opponents are near. Krillin was running around. They must have heard him too.
Yeah, I mean, he heard probably the snowmobile. Snowmobile. He should have heard that.
Snowmobile.
Snowmobile. Really? I have no clue how to say that in English. I'm sorry. So sorry. Premi finds Robert Witt. That's the first one. And he will probably fall right now. But Cardi, Cardi gets killed immediately. Robert Witt falls as well. So 1-1 on both sides.
Khan is doing everything he can to stay put here, but he is very, very, very alone, and it's not going to be easy, because even if he gets a 1 or 2 down, there's still something like 3 or 4 more to go.
Krillian, they are looking at the wrong thing. Oh, Beckham jumps around the corner, but he still gets taken out by Krillian. That is another kill in favor of the Danish team.
Now the question is if all these guys on the same squad, or they are expecting there to be more and they start shooting each other. Like, how do you communicate that to your teammates?
Hey, kill
Just
two
go,
by
like, go
no
all
clue.
chat. That's what you do when you're the opponent scout. You go forward. You just go forward, go all chat, activate, and you go like, I am Swedish, I am Swedish, I am Swedish, and you can run in by the Swedish players, you know? Don't shoot, don't shoot, don't shoot.
That will be so
You just have to
fun.
fake a proper Swedish accent. And then you could infiltrate the enemy territory. That could be kind of interesting. One thing I'm looking at here, though, because we did talk about the river going north to south, right? Is how there are a lot of Swedish players, but they don't have a lot of room to really rotate despite them having the majority of the circle, because this river is holding them from going anywhere east should they get pushed. You can see it right here. They kind of pinned between the Danish teams and the water.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we said when it shifts to east, then everyone needs to cross the river.
When it shifts
When
east?
it...
What do you know that I don't know? Are you
saying.
part of this?
Well, look at it. That was a beautiful knock for the Swedish side. They got Blummens on top of that small mountain. Bjorn also found Twitty 88, so it still seemed to be back and forth. But these are way more small skirmishes now. Obviously, we're on Vikendi, so it's likely that they face each other way earlier than on Erringel.
Also, even though it sounds crazy to say because the map's been out for so long, it hasn't really been used that much in the competitive scenario. And normally, the competitive scenarios in the maps, that's where you really find every single dip, every single rock. You know all this terrain inside out. But for Vikendi, there could be surprise angles still.
Laron might run right into a crosshair here. Oh, pre-firing, but it doesn't work for Speedo. Still, he gets him. I think Laron should have just went for it.
Yeah, he seemed a little confused there.
Oh, yeah, because if he would have went for it, he had way more ammunition left still, since he didn't took a single shot. But that was another death. So down to 30-30 now.
It's a tie in the third game. I mean, how close can it be? But I mean, 1-1, that would be closer. But it is close. Nice save, by the way.
Couldn't be closer, but it is close. Yeah.
Yeah, it is very close.
Bjorn also pretty close to all the Swedish players, but he takes one. Takes 20, 80-80, falls to a G36 here. That was a quick one. He runs away immediately because he might spot his teammate right behind that.
I think that's the thing you got to do, right? If you're all by yourself, which Bjorn has been for the most part of these games, he's kind of been the scout. I don't know if he's been told to go scouting or if he's just kind of done it by himself. Normally, if you knock a guy, unless if it's Bjorn that you knock, there will be more players in that area too. And I think he realized that. Sure, got the kill, got away with it. Let's just get the hell out of here. And maybe go down towards the new circle because it did just pop. Oh, watch out.
Is he? I didn't even want to say it. I was like, is it really?
Handy bro.
Handy bro.
Hello.
Yeah, so he stepped on a grenade in map 2. He was in the way of a snowmobile in map 3.
I'm looking at his position and the fact that he was running straight for that long, I must honestly say he must have disconnected there. I mean, he was just sending it straight into enemy territory. Unless if he was the scout that nobody wanted to deal with, then I think he probably had some connection issues. That would be my hopeful bet, at least.
Maybe he thought that they were teammates.
Again, that could be too. Yeah, true. You never know. Maybe he thought that all the opponents were on the other side of the wall.
Yeah,
yeah, true.
Because, let's be honest, he did not even look there.
Not
nor
even
did he
close.
try to jump to somewhere else.
He just randomly expected the vehicle to go around them. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. All right. Happens.
6 kills in 10 minutes. That's got to be some sort of a record.
I'm not sure the Kennedy is a quick one.
Oh, you have played Stenhug as well before.
Yeah,
so
that was a quick one as well. I mean, it got dragged out later on in the match.
That's the thing, right? Because the more people you take out early, the more room you give for teams later on in the game to really maneuver around. Clutchy on his little sneaky peeky slow bike down there.
Yeah,
Not
I
in a
think
hurry.
he's booking the
ski?
snow experience adventure on his own. Mommy is obviously following him because Mommy doesn't leave his kid alone, you know. But Hamster taking some shots. I mean, he hit Clutchy a bit at least, but
And now
can't
he's back
finish
on
him
snow.
up.
Now he's back on snow, so he drives a bit faster too. That's going to give him a bit of an advantage to get away. Flammy, though, of course, Flammy being flamey, that's not what you want to do when it's snowy, because you will go down. Good shots connected there, though, with the SLR.
Look at how close they are. This, like, Valen was right behind Herky. Frasta also falls. Herky obviously falls. We saw that. 27-28, favor of Sweden. Where's the circle? Can we have a quick overview, please?
It went down south. And Sweden
All
has... Okay, so Sweden has pretty much put not all their eggs in the same basket, but sent a lot of people to Abbey. They have probably a solid, I would say, solid 70% of their force is in or around Abbey or the Cambodges on the eastern side. And Denmark is trying to make their way around the western side. Could potentially go underneath and take some more ground. Issue being that down there, it's again very open. If they have Abbey, they have a broken wall to the south. They can just sit up there and like pick and choose what they want to shoot at.
But we know if you decide for just one compound, no matter how great it is in positioning, you just give up so many angles for like they can half circle it, you can be shot from every direction, and that is not easy at all. It might not be something you really wanted.
Running crates like, wait, is it my birthday today? Because I just got 2 crates on top of my head and I'm all by myself. That's pretty fortunate. Lars trying to make a runoff. Didn't spot Hamster, but fortunately his teammate did, because that could have been scary.
Hamster also out of the game here. It is obviously last map. It's a tie, 1-1. So this is the decider here on the Kendi. Beautiful M249. And everything level 3 on a ghillie suit on top of it.
That's probably the kind of weapon you want in this map, right? Because there's so many people to shoot at. You don't want to have to spend time reloading. Just want to keep on spraying.
Yeah, but they probably need to be a bit closer to that.
What do you mean?
Yeah, you want them really close, like 5 meters.
Yeah,
that's
5 meters.
That is my distance, you know? It's like I can hit people
if
5
I can
meters.
be within 5 meters, I will hit
Non-moving.
You say that, but then you don't shoot at them when they're in a bush next to you, so I don't know what to expect.
I had a lot of these moments. Back then in the old armor days. Oh, man.
You never know. You never know who's with you. And who's
Yeah,
against
that's
you.
it.
These guys don't either, because half the time it's their teammates that kill them, so you never really know who to trust and who not, so that's for sure. But the next circle did go towards Abbey once more.
Are they all moving into Abbey right now?
It seems like they're kind of commit to it. And to a certain extent, it makes sense because they have the broken wall all around. So they can, if they want to go out from there with vehicles, they'll be able to do that. And if they, well, I mean, if they don't, then they can try to make the run on out. But Denmark, they have to figure that there is more than just a few players in this area now. And if they can utilize that info, they can sort of do the swarm around thing we talked about before, where you can really pin teams down and hope that the circle goes away from that spot.
Yeah, with so much movement, they should have spotted that. I mean, that's for sure.
That's a lot of players moving. And they have people in the high ground. You see Jet Fango, you see Bjorn up there in the north. They must have some sort of vision down towards them.
I mean, we know, movies taught us the high ground is something you want to have.
Yeah.
But in the long run, you know that he still became Darth Vader and actually ruled the galaxy. So even without the high ground,
but was that all part of the plan?
Is that?
Because
oh man, I read all the books around it, so I can tell you there's a lot of planning.
Do they count the books? I thought it was one of the movies that counted.
We're
going in deep territory now.
They became so bad lately.
I can. Yeah, that is true.
Never know.
That's what you're talking about, right? Jet Fango, Bjorn, and can't see the last players in the background up there. They have a high ground position. Ronnie is coming as well, saying, "Guys, I got 3 level 3 helmets back here. You want to come pick them up?" But they must have all the vision in the universe that there's a bunch of players in here.
The real question is, how can you beat them and actually get some good shots? Menox, he fell already, so that's 1 down for Sweden again.
And also, do you want to peek them? Because now you know they're there, right? You just want to wait and say, sure, if it comes to it, we can try and push them, even though we know it's going to be tough. And if it goes away, we know they're there, so that's when we're going to play around it. You can see how they're playing. Nobody really wants to take the aggressive angle here. They just want to try and wait it out and hope that the circle goes away. And look at Blumen's, Krillian, Tops on the southern side. They did do what we just talked about. Try and get more control of the circle, get big of a chance to get it to go to you, and see if you can contain them should it go away.
I mean, if they stay like this, there's at least not really a chance for a flank, because they're all around Abbey anyway.
Yeah. It's going to be a hard sort of escape for the Swedish team should the circle not include Abbey in just about 15 seconds, that's for sure. Patrick doing everything he can to land some shots, but Denmark continues to get these crates down towards them.
Blumen's, yeah, he would be easily visible there. That should be a kill, but he doesn't get him.
But he actually gets him in return.
Wow, what a turnaround. Blumen's taken Revengar in a beautiful turnaround here. Damn,
now
you probably did not expect
needs
that.
somebody to come and Revengar him.
Wow. Wow. I can tell you Frost is also in the chat. I think he doesn't appreciate that pun.
No?
I think that was really bad.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah.
On a Frost, and on a scale from 0 to Frost.
You've clearly never seen me cast before. That's probably that's my peak in humor right there.
Really? That was it?
I hate to say it. But
all right. Fuffins, he has looked down at Blummens, who obviously just wrecked his teammate there. Blummens now falls to Methox, so there's a chance that they pick up Revenga.
And that's not good, right? Because he was on the eastern side there. He was kind of the guy to hold the angle, get the info for his team. And now that the circle once again still includes the edge, at least, of Abby, with him down, they can actually now push down south.
Yeah, I'm still not sold at where they could rotate right now, because look at that. Abby is Swedish ground. The same for the small compound in front of it, like to the west. So the question now is, where does the circle shift, and does any of this group need to move?
We can pretty much cut it down to this. Who bribed the circle gods more? Because it's a 50-50 right now what side it's going to go to. And I think the side that gets it most likely also wins, unless if something crazy happens.
I mean, we had circles in favor of Sweden for map 1. We had circles in slight favor of Denmark in map 2. It's time that the circle now shifts completely away.
It just goes dead center for the rest of the game. Like right down on the little shack in the middle of everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, on the road. If it finishes on the road. That's where we want to happen. For the sake of us, not the players, of course. So horrible. But still waggy. And the Danish squadrons trying to see if they can contain all of Sweden, but it has kind of started leaking out in the compound on the southern side, so they have given them a little more room to roam around. And honestly, it is pretty much 50-50 split on the west to east with who really has the sort of percentage in the circle.
I think it might help if Denmark would actually move another 2 to 3, maybe even 4 players down south.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, to create more angles.
Also, Premier, like his sort of a UAV spot from far out west there. It's kind of just, guys, I'm going to be the eye in the sky here. I won't shoot that much, but I will be the one to call in the red zone when we have to. But I agree. 3 guys down there, that is...
It's not enough right now.
Very thin.
Premier is still far back. He's probably just overlooking the situation.
He has the high ground. Yeah, he's just looking. And now Balak with a 4-man vehicle as well. So, okay, so there are 4 guys rotating. That's scary because... Well, as you can see right now, a lot of people shooting at it, so that could be 4 guys down early. That's
They were listening to me once again. Me, Coach Denmark, confirmed.
Yeah. Jort is going back. No, he's not. Okay, I thought he was going to go back and pick up more people to come down. So like, I got this.
This is the new Arlanda Express.
Yeah, it's like the
picking up people.
The Vietnam War, sort of the helicopter that just flies like 20 trips in one day. But 20 seconds to go until we might have an idea of where at least the fight will take place.
And still pretty even, 25-27.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? It is pretty even, and at least for Denmark, percentage-wise, they have the circle because they're both sitting north and they're sitting down south as well. But should this circle once more go towards the Abbey, then it's going to be very hard for Denmark to go anywhere where they won't be spotted, at least.
Unless they got so many grenades. The circle is like, middle. I will help you guys
It's only fair,
out.
right? I guess. I mean, it's only fair.
Yeah, that's fine.
We got Sweden game 1, as you said, Denmark game 2, and now it's like, guys, don't rely on the circles to win this one. It's going to come down to who is better.
Problem for Sweden, it will be a problem later on as soon as blue moves in, is that they obviously have less room to move away. So grenades are more having a bigger impact on movement.
True. They're very much locked down within kind of the Abbey area and the compound. They don't. Do they have anyone that isn't either in Abbey or in that compound? I think that's all of them, right? They don't have anyone outside. No, they don't. They have everyone in those 2 areas, which means that Denmark
is probably the most outside right now.
He might be scouting. He might be trying to rotate down south a little bit. But that's the thing, right? Because they had Danish players in the southern side of the road for so long, so they must also know these are the 2 hotspots right now. This is what you have to focus on, and this is where you should expect people to come out from. So as you said, if you can throw down nades and mollies in that direction like crazy people, then you should be able to get something
probably
off
what Fuffins actually took some friends and went down south to avoid
Yeah.
all the grenades at Abbey. Now they all moved down there.
Out. They do not want to stay up there. They're committing to these 4
Interesting.
buildings. Yep, that's their face when they saw that circle. Speedo helping out Denmark. The spy has been activated. He's going to start running down his teammates like crazy. But yeah, they did send a surprisingly high amount of people down to a compound with just 4 houses. And it seems like they've all kind of given up on the whole Abbey position. Ronnie has an angle here. He's going to try. And that's the thing, right, for Denmark. They might want to try and spot a lot of people, but they also have to worry. Because if that push comes at one point and they're not ready for it, then...
when they're still moving.
Yeah.
While doing so, then they get caught off guard, basically.
Exactly.
Now they got we got the Danish squad up north, which is quite limited right now, because they can't shoot at that lower compound, since it's too low, actually.
Sweden is eliminated. With 26 left. They
eliminated.
They surrendered.
Done.
They're like, nope, we ain't gonna do this. That obviously was not quite the case, guys. Don't worry. They're still very much playing.
Yeah, 25-26, so still pretty even. And Anger on top of the roof here. Tries to get a better look.
I think it's really going to come down to, does this next circle go towards either the compound south or the Abbey? Because if it goes far west, then that's going to be so hard for Sweden, because it's going to be phase 6 at that point, and that's going to be where you can't even rest in the blue to such an extent that you can actually keep yourself alive.
Definitely the Danish players on the more open part of the map.
Yeah.
But it depends on how hard they are willing to commit
When we saw
on
them
the next
full
push.
sent into Abs last time around, right? Now they probably don't have the amount of vehicles.
Oh! Abby's not in.
50 again. I mean, this is going to be 2 compounds. I want this last circle to go dead center. Like right in the middle.
No, a bit south. A bit south.
Oh, I mean, that's right. I mean, south center in that circle, so
Yeah.
it doesn't include either of the compounds. We
Yes.
just want, because right now it's World War I. They're each in their sort of little gutter, and nobody wants to enter Dead Man's Land or No Man's Land, and we want them out in No Man's Land. Right? That's how we want to finish it off.
Kluber falls to Lenny. All right, there we got the first skirmish. I mean, now they kind of need to start fighting, right?
Yeah.
We are in phase 6 already, and it's super close now, and there's still like 50 people on the map.
Also, I mean, you talk about how important it is to damage those vests and helmets, because I mean, all this down here has always been looted 100 years ago at this point, because there's so many people there, right?
Yeah, that's true.
If you finish off a guy's helmet now, he is not going to get a new one in this
Unless a
match.
friend brought another one.
In his backpack, which you can't.
Backpack.
So
Yeah, we just assume you can now.
Oh yeah, of course.
That
of
should
course.
be another thing for Nations Royale.
Yeah.
Bring helmets
Bring
and
spare
armor.
helmets. Yeah.
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 I think that would be great.
Yeah. Could be. Could be. You can always run around with your pen in your hand and like do 360s to try and cover yourself.
Yeah, sure.
Where worst comes to worst.
Now we are, look, this looks like a board game now.
It actually kind of does.
Yeah, it's the full front line of
Was
the
it
Danish side.
Total War Scandinavian version?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Total War Scandinavian version. Risiko, Scandinavian Wars.
Total War Vikings.
Yeah, something like that. They need to move through the more open field on the Danish side, but I still think they
Yeah.
can create the better angles right now.
They have, I mean, look at the pinning they have on the guys in Sweden right now. They're on all the sides, and that's why they're spreading so thin right now, because they want to get the angles. They want to be able to say, you guys cannot sit in one corner where we won't have someone who can see you.
But they do trade after trade, 24-25. It doesn't really
Yeah.
change, like, a
Nope,
difference in kills. Lucky Jackie, one of his teammates at Balok, he had 1 kill, but that's it.
It's going to come down to this next circle, because Denmark has pinned Sweden to, I want to say, 150 square meters within this circle that they're all sitting on, right? Nice shot by Avenger right there.
Right in the face of them all, man.
Yep. That's a good, and they're good pals too, so that's probably a good one for him to land. Like, ha, bragging rights.
But obviously he can't finish him because as soon as he's down, he's behind that little
Yeah.
wall there. So he'll probably be picked up. Otis on his way to help. Oh, there's another teammate. Everyone wants to help. And Asker is like, yeah, man, I'm first.
Shooting each other, keep no, I'm resting. No,
Oh,
I'm
God.
resting. No, I'm
Yeah.
resting.
Typical FPS public behavior.
So if this next circle doesn't go far east, which it didn't, I think Sweden has 1 player in the circle right now, maybe 2.
Yeah, it looks like Denmark
They have
has
1.
the upper
They have
hand.
Samarak in the circle right now,
And he's the only one.
and
But
23 players out of
he
it.
got a compound.
That
man.
is, yeah, he has a shack that.
Yeah,
Is it a
his
shack or
own.
an actual house? Because I'm wondering how many people can we fit into Samarak's house? Because that's. Yep.
All right.
Have you ever seen those like Guinness World Records?
Yeah,
how
yeah,
many? How do you fit 40 people into a Volvo?
Yeah,
or like
yeah.
something like that. That's
Basically,
what's
they
gonna
can do
happen.
that. They can do
That's
that.
what's gonna happen here. How flexible are you guys? How little oxygen do you need when it comes down to it?
Hopefully there's no IKEA instructions for that. Oh, to do that.
1 Molotov as well, just like
Oh,
flaming
yeah,
up
all
the
of that.
whole thing.
Samarak finds a grenade, but that grenade's bounced off a bit too wide.
Honest.
Maybe cooking it a bit longer would have helped
I
here.
mean, they had the full push with the whole apartments thing last game, but look at this position. They don't have vehicles. They used all their smokes to get down, and now they're
Yeah.
actually sending some vehicles forward.
Yeah, now
are
they're really
sending
trying
some
to push it.
vehicles forward. But holy smokes, this ain't gonna be easy. Asker sending the full YOLO play forward. He's gonna get taken down immediately as well.
Yeah, now the Swedish army falls to Denmark on 24 still. They didn't lose a single. player so far since this push happened. Sweden down to 18. Pixum is right next to the check
Look
with
at all the
Patrick.
nades
And
coming in
Fobson
now
and
as
more
well.
grenades coming in, taking Fobson out. Pixum down to half health, like Zet falls as well. Packas on the outside. He could move around with the smokes now, but everyone wants to get in
They're
that one
pinned.
shack.
They are so pinned. It's actually insane. And everybody knows where to throw their molos, where to throw their nades, even though you have those smokes available. You have 23 people throwing at you, and I'm only seeing Danish players on the left side of that kill feed.
Yeah, I think that it's now, yeah. Down to 6, still 23 on the Danish side. If they lose that, I'm pretty sure Toby changes country. But down to 5th, down to 5, yeah.
They're
Samurai
all in
died.
the shack. They're all inside the shack.
Slaughterhouse.
The remaining 3 players are all in there, and there you have it. As expected, not a single moment of hesitation in believing who was going to win it.
It was once again, and I have to say that, and if you watch the previous Nations Royals, you know that I said that after any match that happened, it was once again the fact of putting my army in one place and trying to win against trying to create a front line.
Yeah.
And once again, front line won. So I have to say now, after seeing that they had Abby and the compound down low, I think it does not matter which compound it is. Creating a slightly thinner front line is always the better approach than having your whole team in one position.
Also because with them sitting inside, I mean, the broken wall is going to grant them cover, but it's also going to limit them to do those flanks because they know exactly where to expect every single move from, right?
That was an easy one for Spitto. Of the early kills here. See, we're looking up the replay, so it's not another match.
It's always easy when your opponent isn't even looking at you, and he's like 1 meter away.
I can tell you, I managed to miss even that. Hanny Bro, yeah, after stepping on the grenade, stepping on a snowmobile, that also does not work for him.
Question is whether he stepped on it or under it.
And both
Both
ways he
killed
dies.
him. Yeah, exactly.
Does not really matter. And then that's what happened. Sweden took Abby, but in the end, that did not really pay off for them because you see it here, frontline, Danish frontline. Make sure that Denmark takes this 2-1 over Sweden. And Toby is probably the happiest among the Danish people tonight. What are you doing there? Oh, wow. That's where we go now.
Are we allowed to do that? Are
Look
we
at
allowed
this
to?
slaughter. Yeah, sure.
like,
We're allowed everything in here. I'm also wearing a German jersey underneath.
Oh, you're
my
wearing
shirt.
underneath in case you're actually getting to cast
Yeah,
the
just
game.
in case we see Germany and they win, I'm just get naked. Denmark wins 2-1. This is probably the moment where you get muted by production. They boot you already. I think you took it a bit too far, Toby.
I did?
Just like the Swedish players did with that. They relied too long on it. They should have started a bit earlier, try to branch out.
No, I'm actually
You told you. That what happens to casters that pick sides against a production team that is nearly full Swedish.
Yeah, pretty much, right? I think one of the things, Joe, to go back to the actual game, when Denmark they only had 3 or 4 players down south, and sure, it was open and a hard place to play from. But as you said, you cannot put all your eggs in one basket. You need to spread it at least to some extent because you cannot rely on that 20% of the circle for the circles to show up there.
Yeah, circle defined a lot in this gameplay, 32 versus 32. There will be more action of that with the Adriatic nations versus the Czech Republic after a 6 or 7 minutes break. So don't go anywhere, just grab a drink, grab some chips, and we'll be right back.